Good morning, everyone. It's summertime. It's time without school, without boring lessons, time for you to have fun and to have some rest. During this year, you've spent a lot of time doing some different activities, but did you have enough time to do what you really like? Is there anything that you spend the most of your time? If there is, please type me in chat on what you spend the most of your time. So is it studying? Is it sleeping, eating, maybe daydreaming? So while you're doing it, I'll tell you a little bit how our process of studying will be organized. You will have 2 lessons each week on the platform, and you can do it at any time. The first lesson will be on Monday and the second on Tuesday. But you don't need to wait while I check all of them. You can do both of them at once. Apart from this, we will have our webinars together each Friday at 10 a.m. If there are any questions, please type me in chat, comment it, and I'll try to answer all of them during the webinar or after. So in chat, I'm waiting for your answer on what you spend the most time. What is the activity? For example, as for me, I've spent from 4 to 5 hours to get to work as I've recently moved to a new apartment, and it really kills all my free time. And I think that spending so much time is tremendous. So do you agree or not? If you agree, put plus. If not, put minus. And also type how much time did you spend on the longest journey in your life? How was it? How did you feel? I'm waiting for all your comments in chat. And also, I would like to mention that when we spend a lot of time, we are not sure either we spend it effectively or not. So how do you make the most of your time to make sure that you are working efficiently? To most of us, it seems as if there is never enough time in the day. But we all have 24 hours in a day to accomplish our tasks. And some people are exceptionally good at it, while others struggle to meet these deadlines. Why is it that some people utilize their time more efficiently than others? So what is utilize? Yeah, the same as use. Why is that some people use their time more efficiently than others? What do you think about it? Yeah, you're right. The answer lies in effective time management. And this will be the topic of our lesson today. We will go through 4 agenda. These are discussion about the time management, what it is, time management techniques. We will practice how to prioritize the task using the Eisenhower box. And also we will learn more about the procrastination. Before we start talking about time management, let's study the statistic that a group of French scientists has come up on. An average person spends 70 years of their life. And we will see where time flies. So look on this slide. Here, a lot of activities are represented. So the first one is standing and sleeping. You can see that we spent up to 24, 23 years during the 70 years of our life. So it seems to me quite a lot and unexpectedly. Also, we spent 17 years sitting, 16 years walking, and from 8 to 9 years working. Eating a little bit less, but also quite a lot, 6, 7 years. Seeing dreams, 4 years. Taking public transportation, 6 years. But I think if I continue getting to work for so much hours, it will be even more than 6 years. Talking, listening to conversation of others, it's 2 years. Watching TV, it's 6 years. Yeah, but nowadays we don't watch TV so often. And watching some videos on YouTube or other platforms also counting. And we spent up to 623 days laughing. Let's move forward. Cooking, having a runny nose, fluttering, shopping, being sick, celebrating holidays from 560 to 375. Also, while we're working, we have to fill out documents, and in general, it's 305 days. People are not sure that all of you are keen on reading, but in general, we spend 250 days. Talking on phone 180 days, and getting dressed for men it's 177, and for women plus 2 years. There is a huge difference between it. Combing hair 108 days, brushing teeth 92 days, crying 50s, and checking time 3 days. So, was there anything surprising here? Please type in chat what fact surprised you the most. Good, let's move forward. And here are presented two definitions. What is time management and time management techniques? Time management is the process of planning and exercising control over the amount of time spent on specific activities in order to increase productivity and effectiveness. To explain it better, we must understand what time management is. In simple words, time management is the process of organizing the amount of time that you want to divide between specific activities. Effective time management is about spending the right time to the right activity. While we are talking about time management techniques, these are the tools and rules to follow to organize your time most effectively. Also, we will find out some more techniques and discuss it. Type either you are good at managing your time effectively. Why or why not? If you are good, type yes. If no, no, and why? Are you good at managing your time effectively? Why not? And next question, what are your personal secrets of good time management? So do you know some tips, some techniques would help you to manage it? Type the answer in chat. Again, you should give two answers. Are you good at managing your time effectively? Why not? What are your personal secrets of good time management? While you are doing it, I'll tell you more about the first time management technique. It is called Eat That Frog. So do you think that we really need to eat frogs? Have you tried it? No? Okay. So, eat the frog means do the most unpleasant or complicated task first. So this is what you really don't want, and this might be the most difficult task in your list, and you always avoid it. However, Brian Tracy's recommend us to start with it. So tell me, does it work for you? And would you personally like to use this technique? Now we are moving to the next technique. It's task batching. Have you heard about it? What are your ideas about batching? What is it? So, this is to find more activities you can stack. Write down all your general activities for the day and week and identify the ones that can be batched together. So, batch means to combine. For example, if we need to clean the house, we can combine such activities like washing the dishes, swapping the floor. And it doesn't matter in what order you will do it. Either you start with dishes or with floor, but these activities are similar. And the same while you are learning, you can combine reading tasks together. Read the text in foreign literature, read the text in English, and maybe in Ukrainian literature. So, but all these activities are the same. It's reading. It also works when you are working in groups. For example, if we give to one group the same tasks that are similar, the group will cope with all these tasks quicker than the group which will have different tasks. Now let's move forward to one more technique. And I also want you to type in chat about this activity, task batching. Does it work for you? And would you like to use it personally? Next one, it's Pomodoro technique. I think you've heard about it. It's widely used all over the world. And it's not only about the Pomodoro, like you can see on the slide. What definitely is it about? Here you can see some numbers, 35, 30, 25, 20. What is it? Yes, you're right. This is a timer, a clock. So what for do we need it? First, we should decide on the task to be done. So what you want to do. It might be like eating the frog, the most difficult one, or just any task you need to complete. Then you set your Pomodoro timer. You can take your mobile phone or any other device. It doesn't matter. And you might set it to 25 minutes. This is what this technique is recommended, but it depends on you. If you know that this is the easy task, you can take 5 minutes. It also works. Then you start working on the task. And while you are doing it, the most difficult thing is that there are a lot of distractions. And you need to fight with it, not to react to everything that is going around you, and it might be really difficult. So, for example, when your parents ask you to do something, or maybe your brother, sister wanted to play with you, and you set this timer, would you distract or you would ignore some maybe phrases or activities that you were suggested? What would you do? After it, when the timer finished, you can continue with another task. If the task was easy and you spent 5-10 minutes, do you think that you can go without a break? Or it doesn't matter, you always should take a short break after each activity? So if you need break, put plus. If you think that there is no need for breaks, put minus. Yeah, so usually, even if the task is easy, it is recommended to take a break. Because during these activities, you can do these distractions. So to play with friends, to answer your mobile phone, to help your parents or something like this. And when you've have enough rest, you can move to the next activity. After these 4 Pomodoros activities, you can take longer break from 15 to 30 minutes. Sometimes when you are sitting during this time setting, you can think about some creative ideas. If you need to write an essay and you don't have ideas, you don't know what to write, you can't just concentrate all the time. But when you take a short break, you do other activities. What you were thinking before just can come to your mind, and you can create something really called essay, or maybe a bright idea will come to your mind. So breaks are also important. So, have you ever used these techniques? And do you think that it will work for you personally? Why and why not? And we will move to the next one. It's multitask. Do you think that multitasking is a good idea? We always heard that it's bad to do the same activities at the one period of time. For example, when you eat, your parents not always allow you to read a book, or maybe to search your Instagram and the rest. But there are different kind of multitasking. You can multitask wisely, and it might help you to economize your time. Let's look closer at it. Multitasking is normally considered less efficient than single tasking because brain needs time to adjust when navigating different tasks. What is adjust? It's the time for your adaptation, for you to think about the activities that you do. Navigating different tasks means to manage, to choose which activity you will do first and in what way you will do it. Also known as task switching. So switching is what actually makes you tired and unproductive, not the tasks themselves. It means when you start working, for example, on a project, you've made the half, then you continue reading a book, you've read half of a page, then you've done maybe a presentation, and the rest wrote a half an essay. All these activities are difficult for you, and you've just spent a lot of time and haven't completed any of them. It means that you are empty inside, you don't have energy, you are tired, and in fact unproductive. So when you change your activities from one to another without reaching the end of this, the finish of this activity, your productivity just decreases and becomes lower and lower. Multitask strategically, use any buffer time you have for good. So buffer time is the time when you don't need to concentrate on a specific thing. For example, when you are getting from home to school using public transport, you can do other activities because you are not a driver. You don't need to concentrate on the road itself. You can listen to music, you can read books, you can play your mobile phone, whatever you need, maybe even preparing for exam. Here, as example, you can see listen to an audiobook while cleaning the house and answer emails while eating or having meetings over lunch. So these are the technique of wisely multitasking. Type either you would like to use this activity and are you good at multitasking or not? So type either you would like to use this activity or not, and are you good at it or not? Now we will look how to prioritize the task, and the Eisenhower box will help us. First of all, we'll find out a little bit more about this Eisenhower method. The Eisenhower matrix is one of the best time management techniques. It was developed by Dwight David Eisenhower, and he was the 34th president of the USA and also a military worker. People who hold this high position usually don't have enough time and they need to react on the spot without thinking so long, without hesitation. And that is why it's important to highlight the priorities. What should we do first? What will be second? And the rest. So, analyzing the organization of his time, Eisenhower came to the conclusion that important things on his to-do list are rarely urgent. So, urgent things are those things that you should do fast, without thinking, just someone asked you and you need to give the result, the production of your work. While urgent things on this Eisenhower list were rarely truly important. So they are urgent but not important. So do we need to do such tasks that just take our energy and we don't have the result? We don't need to do this task, because it's not productive. And the apparent importance of some urgent things to do happens because we simply didn't plan to carry them out earlier, and thus we turn such activities into urgent. Now let's look closer. What can you see here on the slide? There are 4 quadrants, and in order to quickly determine the importance and urgency of the current task, Eisenhower proposed a simple matrix with 2 characteristics. So it's urgent and not urgent, important and not important. The first thing you have to learn is to correctly prioritize your task and to see the matrix is divided into 4 quadrants. There are 2 axes of the importance and 2 axes of urgency of the tasks that should be done fast. Certain tasks fit to each of them, which helps to visually see the priority of each component, what to do first, what to do next. Now I would like to share my personal story with you, and you try to guess on which quadrant we should put this story and this task. So important and urgent, this is first quadrant, important not urgent second, important urgent third, and important not urgent fourth. So several days ago, my mother called me and asked me to find the number on the site somewhere in the net. But I knew that she called on this number just 1 day ago, and she had it in your mobile phone in her list. And it was easier, definitely, for her to find it, not for me. And she told me that I need to do it quickly, so it was urgent task. But I was lazy. I knew that it's difficult to find the number. I didn't know where to do it. And I decided, okay, just in several minutes, I will do it, but not now. Now I'm lazy to do it. And at the end, and just in 2 minutes, she called me and told, okay, you don't need to look for it. I found it. And I decided, excellent. So I did nothing and the problem just was solved on its own. So what kind of task is it? To what quadrant can we put it? First, second, third, or fourth? I'm waiting for your answers in comment. And at the end, when you find out more about each quadrant, we will check either you were right or not. So now let's talk more precise about quadrant number 1. So important and urgent task. Perfect time management means that this quadrant will be empty. This is due to the fact that with proper prioritization and timely execution of tasks, there will be simply no things left to this quadrant. This can only be normal from time to time, but the contrast house in what you have to do is a sign of disorganization. If we're talking about the example, imagine that you have a task. It might be at school, at the academy, no matter. But you have a limitation of time. For example, it's 1 hour. Are you nervous? Yeah, I think you are, because you need to do all the tasks in a short period of time. And also, you want to do these tests at your best. And apart from this, get a good mark. So it's also important for you. And these are unpleasant feelings that usually we want to avoid. That is why it's not a good idea to put your tasks here to the first quadrant. It's important, for example, to have a few tasks in this quadrant as possible, because if something important becomes urgent, you start panicking and thinking about time instead of thinking how well you perform the task. The only task that can go to this quadrant might be really serious emergencies that you can't avoid, prevent, or forecast. Good. Let's move forward to second. Second, it's important and not urgent. The highest priority tasks are located here. So it's necessary to pay maximum attention to the task from this quadrant. Experts say that people who work efficiently with quadrant 2, they achieve greater success in life and achieve their goals. They earn more money and do what they love and enjoy. Why do you think it happened? For example, the same, you do the task, the test, and you don't have limitation of time. For example, you can spend the whole week, sit at any time you want, and finish at any time you want. And also, it's important for you, you want to have a good mark. So it's easier to complete the task at a higher rate to make it better, or even the best. Yeah, when there is no limitation, you can use any resources, no restrictions. Since there is no urgency here, there is no panic as well. So the quality of the task performance is high. This, in turn, contributes to high efficiency and productivity. However, one should forget that the late execution of task from quadrant 2 moves to quadrant 1. Yeah, if you haven't completed this task during the whole week, definitely there will be only 1 hour before the deadline, and it again becomes important and urgent. Now we will move to quadrant 3, urgent but not important. All the tasks here are usually a distraction. They don't play any important role in terms of achieving goals and do not lead to any results. Often they only interfere with focusing on truly important tasks and reduce overall effectiveness. When working with the matrix, the main thing is not to confuse the tasks from the quadrant 3 and quadrant 1. Otherwise, there will be a confusion in the priority of affairs. So quadrant 3 can include the tasks connected with different spontaneous meaning and event. For example, my mother call, was it spontaneous? Did I expect it? No, I didn't. So it was spontaneous. Household chores that arise suddenly. Since things from this quadrant only slow you down and steal your time, try to devote them a minimum of your time. So this is definitely about my story. Yeah, you've typed 4, but it's 3 because it was not important, in fact, but it was urgent because I need to react quickly on it. But I didn't, and it's solved. So this was just a waste of time in case I did it. Now let's move to quadrant number 4 and find out what is this one about. This quadrant, not urgent, not important, and there is absolutely no benefit from the task in this quadrant. Even if you don't do it at all, it will be only better. But this quadrant is what attracts us the most. So these are the things that we really want to do, but we shouldn't. It includes the most pleasant and the simple things, tasks that you don't need to work on. They are all about relaxing and pleasure, and that's what makes it difficult to reject them. This quadrant includes phone talks with friends or relatives, social networks, surfing the internet, computer games, watching, going to the party, so everything that you like. Good. And the question is how to understand where should we put all these activities. There are some tips, definitely 3 questions. We will start with the first question. To determine how important each task is, we need to ask this question. Is this task necessary to achieve my big goal? And the answer might be yes. So it means that it's important, or no, not important. Then we ask next question. If I don't do it, will it have any serious negative consequences for me? And again, yes, important, no, not important. But if you answered, for example, for the first question, no, and for the second, yes. So if there is only one yes, how should we treat it? As important or as not important? So if you think that we should treat it as important, type important. Not important, try not important. And we'll find out. So I'm waiting for your comments. And next one. If the task is not completed now, will it still be relevant in some time? This helps us to determine how urgent the task is. So if you answer yes, it's not urgent. If you answer no, it's urgent. So, and as for the previous one, when we had only one yes, it means that it's important. Even with one yes, it's still important. Okay. Here you can find out more examples how it works. Carrying crying baby, for example, important and urgent. Why? Maybe because it disturbs us. We don't like the sound of the crying baby and we need to react fast just to stop this crying. The same kitchen fire. We want to have our home safe and we need to react fast to put off the fire. Some calls, if at your boss or maybe your parents, it might be important. Not urgent things are exercises. So, for example, you can go to the gym in the morning, in the evening, it doesn't matter. You can do it at any time, but it's still important for our health. If we're talking about vacation, you can also choose the most suitable time for you, where to go and when to go. The same as planning. If we're talking about quadrant number 3, it's interruptions and distractions. Everything that takes our attention and doesn't benefit to us. The same as other calls, for example, call from your friend to go for a walk. And we have in quadrant 4 trivial things. So these are basic things that we like to do, but no benefit in it, like busy work and all time wasters, playing computer games. So, by the way, is it possible to put playing computer games to quadrant 1, to important and urgent? What might happen that you will put it in the first place? So if you just want to have free time to entertain yourself, sure, it's waste of time and number 4 might be. But if you need to write down an article, you are a journalist and you type about new computer game that was just released, and you have limitation, you need to pass it in 2 hours or 3 hours. Definitely, you will play it first to understand how it's work, all these benefits, advantages, disadvantages, either you like it or not, and it would be in the first quadrant. Now your task, we should make a list of 10 and more things that you are planning to do during next week. So I want you to type one thing for each of you. Then I will read all these activities and try to guess where should we put it. You might agree with me, might disagree with me, but I'll try to guess. So write down one activity that you're planning to do during next week. What might it be? For example, going to the swimming pool, playing tennis, maybe reading a book, visiting your grandparents. So whatever you want. And we will practicing with putting it in the correct box. So if we are talking about swimming pool and sport, it would definitely go to quadrant number 2, yeah, as all exercises. If we visit relatives, it would be 3 maybe, because we if it's important, it might be also 2, but not urgent when you want to come at any time. Or sometimes when your friends call you, just not important, but urgent because they want you to play at this moment. So give me some activities that you would like to do. I still can't see your answers in chat. To go to the gym. To go to the gym, I think it's quadrant number 2. Yeah, do you agree with me? Or if you prepare for the competition, it might be even quadrant number 1. Going to see my friends, it might be quadrant number 3 or quadrant number 2. Yeah. To draw a picture, if you are a famous painter, it might be even number 1. If you want to entertain yourself, you can put it in number 4 and do it at any time, or even 2 if it's important, but you don't need to start right now. Change phone number in Google account. Okay, I think that it's number 1 for sure, because we can't imagine our life without Google account. It's needed for everything. So you should do it as fast as possible. What else? Learning English. Learning English, I think we can't do it urgently. So it might be number 2. Take a breakfast. If you're hungry and it's just 11:30, it's better to do it as quick as possible. What else do I have? Do shopping. Yeah, might be number 3 or number 2. It depends on what you would like to buy. read a book. We can entertain ourselves. Yeah, it might be number 4. Or if someone just forces you to do it, might be number 1. Go for a walk in the forest with friends. It's not a picnic. Okay, not a picnic, for a walk, maybe 3. Yeah, not important but urgent. What else? Do the cleaning, might be not urgent but important. Number 3. Okay, if I haven't answered to your questions, you can do it on your own, because I think that now you understand how it works. Now let's move forward, and this is procrastination. Do you have any ideas what it is? Are you good at procrastinating? I think we are all good at it. So the picture that I showed you, it's a great illustration of what procrastination is really about. So I'll find a picture for it later. So it's not because I was lazy yesterday and couldn't find a picture of procrastination, but because this is what it is. And to be more precise, procrastination is avoiding tasks that need to be done, the practice of doing more pleasurable things in place of less pleasurable. So here we also can talk about instant gratification. Gratification is the same as satisfaction, something that brings you pleasure, something that you like, the feeling